How accurate are the PCR tests that are being deployed?
The PCR tests are totally inaccurate because they're being conducted in a non-standardized manner.
We're seeing a glut of tests and quote-unquote cases all the time, and so how accurate do you believe these PCR tests are, and are they appropriate for diagnostic purposes?
Are the PCR tests appropriate for diagnostic purposes? Certainly not. You know, the PCR method developed by Mullis, who got the Nobel Prize for this, he himself said, do not use this test for diagnosis. And in fact, neither was it developed for diagnosis, nor has it ever been approved for diagnosis. At best, this test may be used to support the diagnosis, the clinical diagnosis, meaning that you should not be using this test on people without symptoms, as it's being done right now. This is abuse of a test. Why? Because the test is far, far too sensitive.
So you're saying the tests lab to lab have different criteria?
Completely different. Completely different. And because they're completely different, they're also highly vulnerable to error, prone to error. You know, last week, 60 people were sent to quarantine in Bavaria, in a town, and they decided to demand that the test was repeated because they didn't believe it. And the test was repeated, and it turned out that 58 were negative. And the last two were also only positive because the test had been rigged so that it was so sensitive. But the other 58 were totally negative, meaning that the test itself was faulty. So there you are. In fact, this test should be trashed immediately, worldwide. And it should be considered a criminal act for anyone to be sent to quarantine because this test was positive.